So last time we studied that there are different modes of hybriding the things and hybriding the plants. So that part we have completed, like intervarietal, interspecific, or intergeneric breeding. And if you are not clear with the terms like species or genera or something varieties or and all that, just don't worry regarding that, because as you have that chapter diversity in living organism, in that I think you have that type of classification hierarchy is shown, in which all these kingdom, phylum, and what do you mean by genera and species, that is explained in a very good way. So we will be seeing that part in that chapter. So if right now genus and species is not clear to you, don't worry. Just see to it that varieties, species, and genera, when we are talking about, we are talking about the family of one type of group of living organism. Suppose if I consider plants, and rice is one type of family, one group in to which rice belongs. Then you have pulses. The pulses have a big family. Okay. Then you have fruits in which you have one seeded fruit, multi seeded fruit. This is how the fruits are being classified. So there are different groups in which these all these living things are being classified, and that is some levels are there for the classification, and they are called species and genera and all that. So that will be coming in the chapter that is called diversity. So right now, as last time we did this breeding part, ultimately, let's see that when you are breeding something, when you are breeding the plants, when you are breeding the animals, whatever it is, just hold on. Okay. So actually, what is the purpose of breeding when we are breeding something out? I think you must be aware of that flowers are breeded a lot. I think if you have a uh, uh, interest in gardening and all that, you must have seen that basically the hibiscus, or I think you are aware of the plant hibiscus. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
It is available in different colors, in white, in yellow, in red, orangish, pinkish shades are also there. And actually, the pure, the true hibiscus is red in color, white in color. They are the true one. But when you breed them, when you bring them for hybriding and all that, you have the different shades in the flowers and all that. It is because flower is a big business in our country, so that's why breeding is taken good care of, because that brings you the variety of the flower and all that. Okay. And even the rose, I think, as you must have seen the bouquets and all that, uh, or in the flower shop you must have seen there are variety of roses are available. Okay, red, pink, yellow, orange, or you must have seen that there are some flowers in which you have on the petals you have some tints like this of different color. This is how
Yes, ma'am.
you must have seen. Okay, if you have visited flower shop, at that place you can see variety of different flowers that is normally are not no, basically they are not available in our gardens, at our home. So basically what these plant flowering people do, they hybrid all these things. And for flower like roses and hibiscus, breeding is quite easy. Okay. Because first of all, in that you don't have to worry about nutrition. You don't have to worry about I think uh, taste, or you don't have to worry about the odor and all that, because most of the breeded plant don't have the odor. I think if you have visited flower shop and if you take up some um, breeded plants like asters or rose or hibiscus, they will not give you the odor. The roses will not be having the smell in it. Okay, because they are all hybrided plant. Just because they look good, they have a good business in this uh, market. Okay, so let's see that when we are talking about crops, basically the thing which we have, which is uh, consumed in our daily life. So, what scientists basically focus on, what they want from the breeded plant, basically. So, first of all, first outlook for them is that whatever they have breeded, it should give a higher yield. That means the production should be on large scale. Suppose if we talk about wheat, if we talk about rice, if we talk about pulses, if we talk about suppose like bananas, because these are the basic things which Indian people eat. So as we have a good big population, so a small production to a hybrided plant is basically uh, not any uh, rewardable, and it is not considered because you have a population and you have to supply. I think as you are studying social studies, you must be aware of that supply and demand and all these things. So higher production of whatever you have done with the agriculture portion, so that is very much necessary. Okay, first of all. Then second thing about this, that it should have a resistance. Okay, what do you mean by resistance? Resistance means from what? First of all, you need a resistance from a biotic factors and abiotic factors. Okay. Now, biotic and abiotic factors, how we will justify this? That suppose if insects or germs or virus or bacteria, anything is attacking that particular new breeded plant, then it is complete fail. Okay, so like viruses, you have bacteria, you have fungus in biotic portion. Okay, then you have insects, you may have weeds also. Okay, so there are, it should have that resistance, means it should have that type of power, that it should not be affected by all these things. Then only that new plant will be able to survive. Otherwise it will be failing in the survival. Am I right?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. See, whatever I am
Yes, ma'am.
yes, good. If you are not getting anything regarding, because it's a topic a bit raw and a bit related to something like because all of you are belonging to a city. Okay, and I think the students from that urban area, they don't have that picture in the mind that how the agriculture is carried out. Okay, I don't know regarding any of you, but the thing is, I am trying to make a picture just as imaginable for you, because uh, we have the virtual class right now. I have some limitations. Otherwise, it will be better options will be there if we have some real classes or something like that must be there. Okay, but I'm trying to make you understand that just visualize the picture of a farmer. Just visualize the picture of an open field, an open space. That how these agriculture peoples are involved in it, the farmers, the scientists, the research fellows, and all those things. Okay, so that is what you have to think about. And then you have to think about the market also with this. So parallelly you have to think about agriculture, and parallelly you have to think about the economics of the country. Okay, that is what this chapter is showing us. Okay, so this is what this resistance is. that any new breeded plant should not be affected by all these things. Okay, then abiotic resistance means, if suppose if you have planned, if you have planned the hybriding, suppose in year 2020. Okay, in this year we have planned, and I think this year, for all of us, in our lifetime, is the most worst year of our experience. Okay, because many of the things have changed a lot, and there are so many restrictions and so many things which we have not came across till now, we are facing right now. So abiotic resistance means like drought. Suppose if water is not available, suddenly the summer is extreme, wherever you have done that plantation, so drought should not be there. It should be not affected by floods. It should not be affected by sudden winter. It should not be affected by any environmental change. That is abiotic one. Okay, environmental change. So all these things should not affect whatever new the new plantation you have tried in the farm, because if any of them is hindering its process of growth, then the production will be affected. And if production will be affected, you will not be having the suitable product which can be sold in the market. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, good. So that
Yes,
is what
ma'am.
about the resistance is. Okay. Then we have third thing about the this is how these scientists are testing it. These are the levels of testing. They will whatever hybrid plant they will be having, they will be first of all seeing that if it is giving us higher yield, okay, fine, check. If it is resistant about all these things, okay, check. Then the third thing will be is that maturity duration. Okay, so what do you mean by actually maturity duration is that basically whatever because the population of our country, and as we are in the export business also, so definitely some nearby countries are also depending on us for if with respect to the agriculture, because I think you are aware of these Arab countries. Okay, Dubai and all that, all these countries are don't have any type of agriculture. So all these countries are depending on India and Sri Lanka and Bangladesh for the agriculture yield. Okay, so what is the thing is that the demand in the market is too high from the whole population. If you see, so whatever plant you are growing, if it is taking too much time for its growth and all that, suppose if I say, if you have X plant and it takes almost 18 months to mature, that means after 18 months it will be maturing, it will be going to the so for the that storehouses for the processing and all that, then it will be available in the market. That means almost 2 years will be gone uh, regarding its availability. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is not a good sign, because if 2 years are required for the maturity duration, that means you need to have a stock of 2 years previously, so that the market should not have lack of that supply. Are you getting my statement what I am saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that means you need the stock of almost 2 years, so that there is no insufficient supply and all these things will occur. And because insufficient supply will lead to the hike in the price, and if price is going up, then it will disturb the economic balance of the whole country or the whole nation and all that. So I think right now we are all Indians are facing the lack of onions in the market. I think if you are watching the news channels, we are facing the lack.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay? And right now the price is too much. Just hold on, just hold on. Beta, just give me 2 to 3 minutes. I'm coming back to you. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay, so that is what the maturity duration we were saying. So it is very much important for these things. And next will be if we see that whatever plant you are having, it should have a wider adaptability. Okay, adaptability means that it should have. Okay. It should have that in a small amount of water, it should be successfully. Sorry for the disturbance there. There. Okay, so wider adaptability means it should overcome from all the odd situations. If I say particularly, that means requirement of water should not be more. It should have the that means if temperature is very much uh, varying in that particular region, then it should be comfortably adapting that thing. That means suppose I think if you are you must have seen that basically if we go in the desertic regions like in Rajasthan or on the western side of Gujarat and all that, in that area and in that region, what happens that um, whatever because it's a bit sandy region. Okay, so in daytime it's too hot and at nighttime it's too cold. So that type of variation, that plant should be adapting it. Okay, the plant should be adapting it like means not only in the field. That means not even at the time when it is in the field. After it, once it is harvested, it is kept in the storage, it is kept in the storehouse. At that time also it should have that capability that any type of change if it is coming from the surroundings, it should have the adaptation power. Okay, otherwise there is no use, because if it is growing successfully, if it is growing successfully there, then after that if you are storing it and if it is not stored in a hmm, if you are not if it is not stored in a particular way, then and you require lot money area. That means whatever expenses you have built in the field, it should not cross the limit in when you are storing it, because if you need more financial aids at that time, it will be rejected by the farmers and it will be rejected by even the market also. I think you understand this economics, am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
this is how it is working out. So that is what the wider adaptability is. Then you have then you have agronomic, desirable, agronomic characters. So what do you mean by actually desirable agronomic characters? Now just give me one let me give you one example, that if the banana is black in color, will you eat it?
No, ma'am.
Definitely you are going to reject it. Okay, if apple is suppose apple is turning something like brown in color, are you going to choose it?
No, ma'am.
No. Okay, so that means desirable agronomic character should be there. That means it should be first of all soothing to your eyes, then only you are going to buy it. Korea. Okay, so that is very important. Another thing is the because whenever these uh, scientists are researching it out, they will what they will do, they will try to decrease the height of the plant. Okay, basically if you have seen wheat, uh, fields of wheat and rice, I think you must have seen that it's having a good height, and at the top of it that wheat is growing like this. Have you seen it? I think
Yes,
on
ma'am.
television you must have seen. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes, ma'am.
basically what happens that if the plant is having a height which is considerably good one, then similarly the roots are also growing deeper, then only the height will increase. Am I right? Okay. So uh, the if the plant is tall, that means the roots are also going very deep. So basically what these scientists will try to do, that they will try to decrease the height so that roots will not penetrate the deeper surface, so that the nutrition can be conserved at that area. Okay. So this is how they will try to reduce the height, or they will try that what they will do, another thing they will do, that they will try that if from one fragment of this they should have lot many wheat husk like this. So if only one is growing, they will try to possibly grow that 2 to 3 should come up from one stem, so that the production can be increased, and these agronomic these type of characters are agronomic, means agronomic is nothing but agricultural characters should be acceptable by the farmers also. Otherwise farmers will not be ready, because as a farmer they are definitely born scientists, they know their field much better than anybody else in this world. Okay. Because they are working over there. But the thing is, if farmers are not ready with these experiments and all that, they will not allow the plants to grow over there. So that is what the desirable agronomic characters, that in the market it should be first of all good. It should be whenever it is there, it should be sold easily. If it looks good, it will be sold easily. Am I right?
Yes,
I'm,
ma'am.
I'm
Yes,
sorry
Yes,
if
ma'am.
I'm getting some other noises with this, with mine. Uh, so, because my son is sitting with me, and he is doing all these things. So just if you have a disturbance, just let me know. I will try to hold on as much as possible from my side. Okay.
no, ma'am, it's okay.
No, ma'am. Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot, dear. Okay. So that is what about the when we talk about the improvement of varieties. Okay. So this is how it is. The the whole picture comes up. I think you must have heard about BT cotton, BT brinjals. Have you heard about them?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I think in market, if you have
No,
seen
ma'am.
that nobody is buying BT brinjals easily. If they will ask the BT bangan, they will not. People are avoiding them. Have you seen it? Because I think you know, but none of you must be ever been to the vegetable market. So because nowadays so many
No,
other things.
ma'am.
Yes, that's why. Basically, if you go to the vegetable market when the uh, whole lot is there, uh, if most of नहीं, rectangle, yes. So the thing is that is how the people are avoiding that BT cotton, BT brinjals, and there are so many other things. Shh. Yeah, just hold on. Okay, so okay, so second, if I proceed, then is this much part is clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
then we have this another level, that is crop production management. As definitely this is something you will feel like that you are studying the chapter of social studies, I think, because I feel so. uh, okay, so just let's see uh, how much we can relate this to the biology, because definitely the research things will be done only by the bio peoples, not by the eco peoples, right? They are just making money after the researches are done from these scientists and all that. So crop production management, if we say that when you are at the level of production, when you are in the open field, so there are so many things we are concentrating on. And the first thing that is very important, that is basically focused by all, is nothing but the maintenance of the nutrients. Whatever you are growing, it should have the considerable the desired nutrients in it. Then only that particular thing will be accepted. Otherwise it's of no use. That means, suppose if the tomato doesn't have vitamin C, then tomato is of no use. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what we have to understand. Yes, sir. So technology is very much fascinating. Even my son wants the mobile phone at this age. Okay, so the thing is, what I was saying was the nutrients. That whenever you are producing something, nutrition is very important. So that, as we say, as I said, that tomato should have vitamin C. That is because it's a major nutrient component of that particular fruit or a vegetable, because tomato is basically a fruit. So it should have vitamin C in it. Then similarly, all these vegetables, I think you must have heard that fibers are very important components of our diet. Okay, so if you have sweet potato in your diet, you must have seen that thread like structures comes out of that sweet potato. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
but if in a market, if you go, there are two types of sweet potatoes are there. Okay, so one which is with fibers, it is Indian sweet potato. Okay, that is original one. So basically people will say that it's a desi. Okay, so that is available. But another type of sweet potato is also there, which doesn't have fibers in it. It's just the way potato is there, very smoothly it can be chopped, and it can be you can consume it. Other nutrients are not compromised, but the major one, that is fibers, are being removed while hybriding. So basically, if you see the people who are aware of it, they will not buy easily. They, because they don't know about fibers and all that, but they will understand that this is not the one which belongs to our country. This is not the desi. It's not a good in taste, or it will not be consumed by the my family, so they will not going to buy it. So that is what the thing is, the nutrients. Okay, and I think right now in the market, ginger is also being hybrided and it is available there. Okay, because even ginger is having these mustache like things coming out when you break it down. Okay, and right now in market, one Chinese ginger is also there, which is very smooth, which will not have fibers in it. So that is how you should, because I don't know, you are not be in this thing, buying vegetables and all that, but you can tell your parents, those who are going over there and buying it, if they are bringing these types of things at the home, then you should, as a, because you are educated, you can see that yes, this is the thing, that is what the difference you are getting, and you can make them understand that this is not good, you should buy that type of thing whatever you are buying earlier. Is it clear to you?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, so this is how you should make your parents understand regarding this. Okay, and because the thing which is coming hybrided and all that, they are comparatively lower in price. So definitely, because mothers are the one with their, and they are always concentrating on the financial map of our house, they will definitely see to it that okay, fine, the price is low, buy it. Okay, so they will definitely compare, because it's not too less, only 2 to 3 rupees difference is there, or 10 rupees difference is there, but definitely that makes our parents happy that okay, fine, it's a low, at lower cost, we can buy it. But the thing is, we are compromising so many things regarding it. So nutrient management is very important whenever you are doing the production. Okay, so there are two types of nutrient, that is macro and micro. You have a chart in your textbook in which the classification is given, macro and micro is there. So many of the element things like zinc and all that are considered as micro one, and because these nutrients are very important for the growth of the plant, and if these are not available, then definitely the plant will be the deficient one, and whatever the fruits these plants are producing, they are also the deficient one. So definitely that will not give us the whole complete diet, and that will lead to the further deficiency in us, those who are consuming the plants. So that is the thing you should look out. And second thing about is that whenever the production is going on, you should be aware of the manure. I think you are aware of this word, manure.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so manure, we have two types. That is the one which is natural, made up of cow dung, made up of waste of plants and waste of animals, dried leaves, dried vegetables, dried plantation, and all that. So that type of compost, if you are preparing by digging up the soil and dumping all these things under the ground and covering it and opening it after 6 months, then you will be having a good texture of that compost, because most of the things will be denatured, and it will be converted into a just similar soil only, and that is completely harmless for the plants. You can just allow that to compost in the in your field, and that will definitely nourish your plants, and the plants will be very good, uh, happily surviving. Am I right? And that is what the manure is. But you have some fertilizers also. Okay, fertilizers are also there. They are chemically produced. That means I think the most common fertilizer farmers are using is urea. Okay, so I think you must have heard about the green revolution in Punjab.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You have heard it. Okay, so actually what is the reality of this green evolution was there, revolution, sorry, was there, that basically what was there, that in India suddenly there was introduction of urea in the fields. Okay, agriculture was because it was given that trigger, that acceleration was there, that fine, we will be producing the things in a very fast manner. So whenever see, uh, if you, I will just say this, that naturally our environment is designed like that, that whatever is produced in a very fast manner, okay, that thing will be deteriorating also very in a very fast manner. That is a nature of our earth, okay. That means if it takes time, if it takes its own time to develop something, then that particular thing will not be dying in just a one day. It will be surviving the odd conditions, and it will be definitely battling it out, and everything will be good. But the thing which are chemically done are not good. I am just giving you one example regarding this, that if we introduce urea in the field, okay, basically you must have seen that big houses have a green carpet, green grass is there on in their gardens and all that. And that's a American grass, I think, American lawn grass, if you have heard about it. Have you heard that about it?
No, ma'am.
Lawn
No, ma'am.
grass. Lawn grass you have not. Big houses, that those who are very rich, but basically they will go for it. Either on your on the television you must have seen that those who are having big houses are shown, and they have a lawns, big lawns and all that, gardens in their houses. Have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
now
Yes,
this
ma'am.
lawn
Excuse me,
grass.
ma'am.
Yes, dear.
Ma'am, the only difference between this manure and fertilizer is that fertilizer is man-made and manure is natural.
Compost, that means manure, is natural, and fertilizers are synthetically created.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, that's the difference, major difference between them. Understood?
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So first of all, see to this, that lawn grass, first of all, it's not an Indian grass. Okay. So definitely it is coming from the foreign country. So how these lawns are prepared, that suppose if this is the field, then the lawn grass will be coming up in packets. That means just the way you have the tiles, okay, that type of tiles, type of structures will be, soil sheets are there, on that that grass will be growing. So what the gardener will do, they will prepare the field, and they will patch these lawn grass. Suppose if this is the patch, they will apply this patch over here. Then at certain distance, another patch will be applied over there. Then at here also it has been done, here also. This is how patch, in the way we are doing patching. This
Ma'am,
is
what is
how
a patch?
patch work, I think, you must have seen that if have you seen the nowadays, because in fashion it is there, that some people are wearing jeans, and on that your denim is having one another type of cloth which is being stitched externally, just for a style or something like that. Have you seen that?
Yes, ma'am.
That is
Yes,
called
ma'am.
patching. That means you are basically, that is this type of thing was done by the mothers for hiding out the small holes in the cloth and all that. So what they were doing, that they were applying a small patch of cloth in that region, so that that hole or something will be hiding, and they will be wearing that cloth for further use. Okay, but fashion
Okay,
industry
ma'am.
has adapted it, and it's a fashion now. So similarly, patching is done for these grass patches will be taken, and they will be patched over a field. Okay, then what these in this garden, what they will do, they will just throw the urea in this region. So urea will be supplied, and a huge amount of water supply is there. I think if you have seen on the television, basically in the lawns, where the where the people play golf and all that, there is a continuous supply of water with that rotating machine and all that. Have you seen it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I think you
Yes,
must
ma'am.
be seeing this. Yes. So continuous water supply is there because urea has to be dissolved and it should be settled down in the field so that it can be layered in the soil and all that, and it will be nourishing that soil. So what will be the situation that once the urea will be settling down over here, this grass will be it will be growing so fast that yeah, I think in overnight, one or two overnight only, the whole field be green in color. This is how fast these chemicals are working. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Only 48
Yes, ma'am.
hours are required to convert the whole area in just green in color. Okay, so this is what the effect is. So everybody will be happy. Oh fine, the whole field is green, nobody is going to regret it about. Okay, but the thing is, after once suppose if a farmer comes and that particular individual decides to remove this grass, and he is trying to put some plantation like let me try out to grow wheat over here, let me try some rice over here or something like that. If that farmer decides, then this field will become completely non-productive just because of this reason. Is it clear to you?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
That is a side effect of fertilizers because they are synthetically created. They are definitely give the boost to the growth, but that boost is not it's a very eye soothing thing, but it is not a good for the quality of the soil. The quality of the soil will be deteriorated and it will become non-productive suddenly. Understood this? So that is what happened in Punjab also when the green revolution was there. At that time the urea was spread it was in the market like the way you have the salt and sugar in the market. So all the farmers were buying it and they were just throwing it on the field. And because in India nobody bothers about the concentration level or something like that. They just what they do, they will open with the open hands, they will throw, and the fields were green. So for 2 to 5 years, it was very good production. But suddenly their land turned out to be barren after 5 years. Then they realized that what was the side effect of the urea was. So farmer then started avoiding the this supply of urea in their field. Understood this?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what the fertilizer thing we are talking about. Then another thing, wherever the production is going on, you should be have good irrigation facilities. That means wells should be there, canals should be there, or a river side. If it is your that field is nearby a river, then the river should have the water supply throughout the year. It should not grow dry. Otherwise, uh, rest of the years the people will be the farmers will be crying. Or suppose on if on the river side it is there, in rainy season if it is flooding, then also it's a waste. So that type of irrigation facilities should be there in our country. That so we have so many options like wells, you should have canals, you should have rivers, you should have tanks. All these things should be there. Means what, wherever your field is there, it should have a good water supply, then only it's of use. Otherwise no use of agriculture. Because what people is thinking that reduce the cost. If you are reducing the cost at that level of production, then only it will be available in the market at a lower cost. If production is taking too much amount of money, then in market it will be available in at the higher rate. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so
Yes,
that is
ma'am.
yes, so that is what you have to understand. Then last one that is very important is cropping pattern. crop patterns. Okay, so if you have a chance to visit a field or somebody who is in this agriculture business, somebody who is professionally a farmer, then you can definitely visit a field and you will have a beautiful experience regarding that. Because what do you mean by cropping patterns? First of all, that as we know that rabi and kharif crops you must be aware of.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay, that season wise farmers are doing it. Okay, so that means the field is producing the crops in every season, and it's not empty, because if it is empty it's a loss for the farmer. So the thing is, cropping pattern has to be decided. And another thing regarding cropping pattern is that uh, basically what farmers do, that if they are trying to grow wheat, with that they will try to grow the groundnut also. Okay, because the thing is, uh, when these types of two crops are grown simultaneously, okay, so that's a there are so many benefits regarding this. What do you mean by benefits? Just see to this, that if this is the field, and you must have seen, I think from the train, when you are going, you must have seen that there are the lines are being drawn in the soil by the farmers, just by using their oxes and all that, bullock carts and all that. Yeah, these types of lines you can see in the soil. Have you seen them?
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Okay,
Ma'am.
and they are very much, they, if you observe them, they have a very good equal distance, and the maintenance of these things is very much balanced. See, farmers are not going and keeping up the scale and doing all these things. They are, it's very much calculative by them, because they are doing this naturally. Okay, so this is, these types of lines are being there because the field is being plowed. Okay, so plowing is done. And if farmers is, what they are doing is, basically, if in this area, in this thing they are growing wheat, suppose they are planting the seeds of wheat over here. Okay, this is how. So this much soil is free. Okay, so in this region what they will do, they will just sow the seeds of the groundnut over here. Because see this, that wheat is growing on the top of the soil, that means above the soil the wheat will be coming up. Okay, and the groundnut is the one which is going below the soil, that means in the roots the groundnuts will be there. I think you are aware of this.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so first of all, if this type of thing is there, there is no mixture of the seeds on the top of the this soil. Am I right then regarding this?
Yes, ma'am.
There is no problem in harvesting, because what the farmers will do, they will just chop the wheat thing when it will be maturing, and then they have to just pull out the these plant for the groundnuts from below the soil. So that is what we have to do. And they have simultaneously two types of crops can be grown in one field. That is called intercropping. That is called intercropping. Okay, so this type of cropping is done. So why it is important? Because groundnut is a leguminous plant. You are aware of this word, leguminous?
Yes, ma'am.
yes,
Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. So leguminous plants it is. So it is very good in fixing the nitrogen in the soil.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what these groundnuts, if they are fixing the nitrogen in the soil, that nitrogen will also be available to the wheat plant. So wheat plant will be nourished automatically. No nitrogen source has to be given externally by the farmers. Basically the source of nitrogen comes from urea. It's a huge nitrogenous source. Okay, but the thing is, if naturally it can be done, the wheat can be the production of wheat can be enhanced just by having the groundnut intercropping with this. then it should be done by the farmers and there will be no synthetic fertilizers will be used. Is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so what this crop patterns giving us picture is that without using fertilizer we can maintain the nourishment of the soil, the texture of the soil, the quality of the soil, and that leads to the production very well. And at the same time you have two products to be sold in the market by the farmer, by the same farmer, in the same, from the same field. So because farmer is supplying water in this region, so they are supplying nourishment, they are taking care of this field, so they will have at the end two products. So economically and financially that's a good sign for the farmer. Am I right?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what the intercropping is. Another thing is that once if suppose one crop is taking 3 to 4 months, after 4 months you can start growing the vegetables, and then only the other major crop can be grown. So because vegetables doesn't take much time to grow, so in between whenever there is a empty slot you can have the vegetables in that region, so that will maintain the that nutrient quality of soil also. And another thing that suppose if for continuously 5 years in this field, suppose continuously for 5 years the farmers are growing wheat, okay, no other type of crop is being sown over here, only the wheat is the one which is being uh, utilized by the farmers over here. So what happens that because uh, this particular region will have the continuous growth of the same kind of plant, then what will happen that suppose the roots, I am just showing in 2 dimensional, just try to understand that if this is the surface of soil and this is the wheat plant and its roots are growing till here, that means till this region, the nutrient of the soil are uh, just vanishing and finishing off. Okay, so if intercropping is done, some roots are till here, some roots are till here. So what will happen that if farmers are doing this, then there will be alterations in absorption of nutrients and the soil will maintain the balance of nutrients in it. Is it understood by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Everybody?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that is what the cropping pattern has to be followed. And if you ever have a chance to visit in a field, just see to it. You will definitely enjoy this cropping pattern a lot because there are so many combinations are there. I think some of the examples are there in your book also. So there are so many type of combinations of the plants are there which can be grown in the field, and you can see a beautiful field over there when it's growing and when it is maturing. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Yes,
so this is how the crop production should be maintained. And see to this that uh, this one, if I crop protection, third one, management, crop protection management is there. So this is also a very important, whatever crop you are having, from the day you are sowing the seeds and from the day it is being harvested and stored in the godowns, it should be protected thoroughly till it is stored in the godowns. It is stock should be available in the market. It is reaching to the public. It should be protected from every kind of the odd thing, that means from the environment, from the all these insects and other pests or something like that. So that is what you have to see, that first crop protection management, then when in the field, when you are in the field, then you have to protect it from viruses, bacteria, Then you have to protect it from like fungus. You have to protect it from like weeds, then pest. All these things are just ruining your production and all that. So that is what you have to understand. And uh, this is how uh, uh, because I think pesticides and weedicides, you are aware of these words.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay, so nothing but that weeds, to remove weeds you are using weedicides. So okay, weedicides are you see wherever the word CIDES is coming, it is related to kill. Okay, to kill the weeds, weedicides are used. To kill the pesticides, sides. To kill the pest.
ma'am. What are
Understand?
pests?
Pests are like rats.
Ma'am, rodents.
Yes, rodents you can say. Now in the news recently you must have heard about that our neighbor country have that attack of grasshoppers. In our country also it was there, and I think in
Yes,
news it
ma'am.
was there, the Tiddi ka
Yes,
hamla it
ma'am.
was there. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So all these pests has to be killed. They should not attack our production, and the crop should be protected from that. So if CIDES is there, you are talking about something which is killing that particular thing. So fungus is having fungicides, then bactericidals are there, viricidals are there. So many things are there in the market. So in the field that has to be protected, that has to be taken care of. And uh, now I will come to the word that is called BT cotton or BT brinjal. Now I will explain that. What do you mean by actually BT brinjal? So what do you mean by actually BT? Can you, anybody of you tell me?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I think because it is regarding something like genetics and all that. So basically people give me the word like biotechnological brinjal. Okay, this type of thing will come up, but it is not the, this is the thing. Basically what happens that brinjal and cotton and all that, they are affected or infected by one bacteria that is called Bacillus thuringiensis. Okay, so what scientists have done is that they have taken out the section of DNA from this particular organism, and they have introduced that in this plant, in this brinjal, in the cell of this particular crop. Okay, then what happened that this plant become resistant to so many insects, so many pests. The it was resistant. Okay, so that was a good sign. But what was the negative thing happened with this? The experiment is that as insects and pests were not coming to this plant, there was no pollination was seen, and suddenly there was a production failure was there in the in the field. So that is the big failure, first of all. Second thing, what happened that due to the introduction of the gene from this particular organism into this plant, the nutrient quality and the taste, first of all, very important was the taste and the color of the brinjal was completely different. So nobody in the market was ready to buy it. So commercially, it was a failure by the nature. Okay, so it is still available in the market. It is still in the fields. Many of the farmers are still going for the this production and all that. But the thing is, it is not good for the. It is not a complete successful experiment by the agricultural scientist or research fellows. So this is what about the BT cotton and BT brinjal we are seeing. So protection is good, but if it is killing the natural things, then it's of no use. Have you understood this?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am.
Okay. So that BT is the name of organism, Bacillus thuringiensis. It is not biotechnology. It is not biotech bangan or something like that is not there. Okay. So just remember that, because most of the people are giving me these types of clauses and answers. Okay. So this is how you have to understand. Then if we are in the field, you are protecting the crop. When it is harvested, after harvesting it, when it is going for the storage in the godowns, at that time also it should be protected for so many things like rodents, and also rodents and from fungus basically. If it is infected by fungus, if it is not you are not able to stock it for the whole year, then it's of no use, because basically what happens that the particular plant will give you the yield after 1 year only. Okay, so you should have the stock for the whole year, and that should be very well protected by every kind of biotic or abiotic factor surrounding it. Understood this?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is what the major part of your chapter. After this, whatever is there, that is animal husbandry and fishery and all that is there, that we will be seeing in the next class. Till here, you just go through the content, and if any of the word you have not understood, just let me
Okay, ma'am.
know. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Have a nice day, ma'am.
Yeah, same to you.